10 underrated sci-fi movies. These may not be the best the sci-fi genre can offer, but they deserve much more love than they get. Let me remind you of some super entertaining, solid movies that not enough people talk about. We have a long list ahead, so let's jump into it from oldest to newest. I'll try not to give any spoilers. Daryl, 1985. A runaway kid finds his way to an elderly couple who accompanied him to an orphanage. The kid's only memory is his name, Daryl. When assigned to a foster family, he becomes the perfect son. No, this is not the premise of a horror story. Despite my ominous description, director Simon Wincer composed a sci-fi family movie, not unlike Spielberg's classic E.T. In Daryl, the science fiction happens when Daryl's real parents show up and take him to a secret facility. I will leave it at that to avoid spoilers. But the movie has lovable characters, a sound plot, and good pacing. It deserves more love. The 13th Floor, 1999. A film about a simulation theory released in May 1999. No, it is not The Matrix, but it may explain why the 13th Floor bombed at the box office. It had a similar premise and was released in the US only a week after The Matrix. However, the movie directed by Joseph Rusnak is not just another copy. Instead of humans being trapped in a simulation, the 13th Floor is about consciousness arising in playable characters inside an immersive game. Sure, it had none of the groundbreaking styles and themes of The Matrix. The cinematography is not its strength. Still, the idea is intriguing. What if our PCs become conscious when we are not playing the game? The movie's weak point was the focus on the twist instead of the philosophical question it instigates. The One, 2001. This sci-fi action movie was directed by James Wong and starred none other than Jet Li. In this multiverse story, an agent of the Bureau of Interdimensional Police, played by Lee, goes rogue. He decides to kill each copy of himself in every parallel universe to become more powerful. The bestest of the premises. Yes, I said bestest. It has an epic battle of Jet Li against Jet Li. Is it cliché? Sure, but so worth the effort. Did I mention Jason Statham is also in it? Deja Vu, 2006. A sci-fi action movie directed by Tony Scott and with Denzel Washington playing the main character. Do I need more to sell Deja Vu to you? After a bomb explodes a ferry carrying hundreds of US Navy sailors and their families, an ATF agent pairs up with a newly formed FBI investigation unit, experimenting with an intriguing machine named Snow White. It allows the agents to see the past. More precisely, 4 days, 6 hours, 3 minutes, 45 seconds, and 14.5 milliseconds before the now. It turns out Snow White was more than a television play in the past. And things unfold from there. I love this movie. I seriously have no idea why people don't talk about it more often. It plays with time in a way that I find fascinating, in a way that I have no way of explaining without giving any spoilers. So go check it out. 5 centimeters per second, 2007. Maybe I'm cheating a little bit with this one, but come on, it's a Makoto Shinkai movie. I say I'm cheating because this one is a drama with sci-fi elements to it. A genre bender, if you will. The story is truly beautiful. It is about the relationship between Takaki Tono and Akari Shinohara, two childhood friends who have feelings for each other. However, their timing is never right, and they want different things from life. This bittersweet story is explored further in the third act through the sci-fi elements I've mentioned earlier. To avoid spoilers, I will stop here with a simple advice. Go watch it. Source Code 2011. Directed by Duncan Jones and starring Jake Gyllenhaal, the sci-fi thriller puts us in a loop run against time. An amnesic soldier, Captain Coulter Stevens, played by Gyllenhaal, wakes up inside a machine that allows him to hijack the consciousness of another person. The catch is, this person is in the past, on board a train that will blow up in a terrorist attack. Stevens has 8 minutes to figure out who the bomber is. While he uncovers this mystery, he starts to get his memory back. Maybe I'm biased here, because tropes involving time are my ultimate favorite, and this is a time loop story. I've seen people who dismiss the film because of its very last scene, but in my opinion, it does not detract from the ride. I agreed that it would become excellent without the ending, but being one scene away from a masterpiece means it comes close enough. Chappie, 2015. Neil Blomkamp's story happens in a futuristic Johannesburg, when an oppressive mechanized police force patrols the streets. Prototype of police android is stolen and reprogrammed by criminals. It becomes Chappie, the first robot to become sentient. The cultural aspect and themes are the soul of this movie. It is unique in style, and the great characters take this simple premise to the next level. Isle of Dogs, 2018. Why is this animation so underrated? It was directed by Wes Anderson, it has stellar casting, yet no one talks about it. Why? The setting for the sci-fi comedy is somewhat familiar to everyone who lived through the pandemic. There is an outbreak of canine influenza in the fictitious city of Nagasaki, and the authoritarian mayor convinces the citizens the best solution to stop it from spreading further is to exile all the dogs on a trash island. A while later, the mayor's nephew wakes up from a coma and finds out his dog is on said island, so he leaves on a rescue mission. It has Japanese influences and the unmistakable style of Wes Anderson. And the dogs talk. This should be enough to convince you to give it a try. Extinction, 2018. Released on Netflix in July 2018, this movie was directed by Ben Young and starred by Michael Peña. The story is about a father suffering from recurring visions about losing his family, trying to work on his relationship with them amidst an alien attack. It may seem formulaic, but it has a cool twist. Although it received general unfavorable reviews, it is a solid story. It favors action over sentimentalism. This is probably the point that people tend to dislike. But this is also why the twist works, and it really changes your perspective the second time you watch it. The Platform, 2019. The Spanish movie generated a lot of buzz when it came out. The dystopic story presents a nail-biting allegory for wealth distribution in society, with a deep exploration of human behavior. A high-concept horror movie with plenty of criticism aimed at every direction. You can find a lesson on different levels of analysis. Feel free to dissect it. I sure did. The day I watched it, I was so excited I wrote down my own analysis of it. That's it for today, folks. I don't know if you've noticed, I like action movies. But even if you don't, I hope I could help you find a good science fiction movie to watch this weekend. See you next video. Ciao! A runaway kid finds his way to an elderly couple who accompanied him to to an, orph- to an orphanage. And cinematography, cinematography. I say I'm teaching. I say I'm teaching. I say I say I'm teaching. The mayor's nephew wakes up from a coma and finds out his dog. The mayor's nephew wakes up from a coma. Okay. Hmm? Do you want to appear in the video? Hmm? Yeah. Say hi.